To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Welcome, everybody. It's time to answer the call. It's the Tuesday night celebration that we like to do. It is Celebrating the Arts. It's one night only, and it's an internationally known artist. David Perillo is here, and I am excited. I've been working to get down and sit and talk with him. You are going to be shocked at the portfolio that this creative person brings. The magic of Disney is right here, and it's tonight with this incredibly talented individual. I'm excited. Let's get it going and get the opening parts done so we can get down and chat with our friend. As you know, with every Tuesday night, we remind you that you can feel free to ask questions tonight by highlighting over into the chat at Pete McDevitt Show. We will gladly ask our guests a question. We want to say thank you to all of our partner channels that partner with us to help bring the Disney magic. So many great creators from the parks and from home. They do an amazing job. All of their links are found on the front of my YouTube channel. Chaotic Crusaders, these are people that support us and help our channel. We're so grateful to them. We say thank you very much. You'll hear a lot from these people throughout the day as we go through, and check out their content as well, available on the front of our channel. Executive producers, we're bringing you content, 4K Disney videos. I just got a brand new one from California and a brand new one from Disney France today. We'll be loading them up in the next couple days. And, of course, Casey's killing it from Florida. I got new stuff coming from it, too, as well. More videos coming, balance of the month, 4K content throughout the days coming here on the channel. We're excited.
The official Disney-related news service and partner of the Pete McDevitt Show is Chip & Company. You can find this trusted source at chipandco.com or on many social media outlets including YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Our charity support this week goes out to Kellen, Live in the Magic. I want to call him Live in the Magic all the time. It's Live in the Magic with Kellen. He's amazing. He's a ambassador for Give Kids the World. He's got his own support. He started fresh this year, building up to Give Wishes to Kids. Check out Kellen and everything he does. Live in the Magic, and that is our charity support that we will stay with. My moderators will be dropping his link. Real quick, I do want to put it out there. We will have a members call hangout coming on April 30th. That's this Saturday. Members hangout this Saturday. I can't wait for that. I'm looking forward to that myself. We do have a moderating town hall coming up April 30th. All moderators that are interested, reach out to me. We'd love to have you in for the town hall April 30th, 1 to 2 p.m. And we highlighted this recently. Our good friend who came on recently, Disney fine artist Michael Provenza. He's got April 29th and 30th, 5 to 8 p.m. out in the galleries. Check out everything with Michael Provenza. Just sending out a courtesy reminder to everybody. Michael's kind enough to share that with us and all the good stuff we have going here. Want to remind everybody as we get ready to start tonight that we're going to do a giveaway tonight I'm excited. I talked with our guest right before the show started and asked him, was he interested? He said, yes, I'd love to do something like that. So we will be doing another giveaway tonight. It will be the same as we've done in the past. It'll be based on comments left on the video at the conclusion of it, based on the content of the interview. So sit back, relax, get ready to roll with our guest tonight. And it's going to be a blast. So let's talk about it. This is his website up on the screen, everybody. My guest tonight is an incredibly talented artist known for his bold graphic approach, who has been a featured artist at Epcot Festival of the Arts and Disney's D23 Expo. He is the incredible mind behind the Wonderground Gallery's partner statue of Walt and Mickey. If you haven't seen it, you will tonight. It's incredible. He has been recognized and discussed on respected news sources like Magical Ears Collectibles, Mickey Blog, Diz Kingdom, All Ears, we know them, Disney, Disney Food Blog, Chip and Company, and Inside the Magic, just to name a few. He has done work for prestigious clients such as Disney Consumer Products, Disney Television Animation, Target, Warner Brothers, CBS Television, the list goes on and on. He has had his work showcased in many galleries, including a recent solo exhibition at Gallery 1988 in Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show with us for the first time here, celebrating the arts one night only. It is Dave Perillo. Dave, welcome in. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, how you doing? Glad to be here.
I'm excited that you're here. I've got my moderators are throwing it out there already, the way to find all of your content information from all your socials. They'll be doing that throughout the night. If you're watching live, we welcome everybody in. I see Jill, Carla, and Crew It Up. Mike's in here. Appreciate you guys all coming in. Brian K. If you are watching on the replay, you can find the links for all of Dave's socials and all of his art, both in the chat and also in the body and description of the video. I think best way to start out is let's first share a little bit about you in general, whatever you'd want to share with somebody who might be coming on and finding you for the first time. And then from there, we'll kind of dig in to kind of the love of Disney, your art, and all your socials and everything from there.
Okay. Well, I live outside of Philadelphia, so pretty much my whole life this is where I've been.
Nice.
Not as warm as Florida. I'm a freelance illustrator, so I get to work with a lot of fun clients. Been doing that freelance for over a decade now. And before that, I kind of worked as a illustrator for a medical trade magazine. And I would do like editorial illustration and medical illustration. So it wasn't as much fun as the stuff I do now, but it helped get my skills up and my foot in the door in some good places. So
nice.
Trying to think what else.
That's
hard. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard when you're talking about yourself.
We've already got the questions coming in before I can even get started. The amazing Julie McCown says, "Hey, Dave, where did you study art?"
So I went to a local community college, and they had a really good art program there, and that's where I learned all the computer programs. Like I use Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop a lot. I'm primarily a digital artist, although I do traditional stuff too. And then from there, I got a bachelor's degree at Cabrini University, which is a small 4-year school, it's near Villanova.
Nice.
As a good basketball team.
It is a very good basketball team. Great area of the country. I'm not far from you in Maryland, so we're neighbors in a way. Yeah. So Mars says medical illustrations would be rough. They're different. They're different. Somebody's got to do it, and you got to have talent to do it for sure. So I know that you're tied in with a lot of companies that you do, and we're going to talk about that, not just Disney, throughout the interview. But let's talk for a minute. There must be a little bit of a love of Disney in the magic when you draw, that you have a little bit of passion of the Disney. I'm just curious, where did that come from? Is it from your youth it's been there, or did you find it as you started going out and illustrating? Where would that come from?
No, that comes from when I was, a little kid. I would, I'd watch Disney movies. I went to Disney in like 1980 for the first time when I was a little kid. I really into the parks, like the attractions and the Imagineering aspect of Disney. So I've always been fascinated with that, and the old classic movies, and just seeing like golden book storybooks of the adaptations of their movies and how they would handle the art from the movie into a storybook, and
Nice.
so I got a lot of inspiration and stuff like from that growing up, I think. And
That's cool.
um,
I like that. Crew It Up
yeah,
says, "Hey, Dave Perillo, one of my favorites you have done is W for washing Winnebagos." So,
yeah, I did a whole alphabet series.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
very true. We should highlight real quick that David has been extremely successful on Instagram. He's got 19.2K followers, over 970 plus posts, heading toward 1,000 posts over there on Instagram. He's followed on Twitter as well, 6,400 followers when I set up this interview. Of course, his website is incredibly informative, and you can do a lot with it there. We'll be talking about that throughout the night. I want to highlight real quick before we jump into it, because I want to kind of get into the whole Disney thing to jump in. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say, hey, this is pretty cool, ladies and gentlemen. Think about this. This is just a partial list. It's not the full list, I don't believe, but a partial list of some of Dave Perillo's clients that he has worked with. Ready? Get ready to take a drink, because this is going to be a second. It's going to be pretty impressive. Disney, Pixar, Target, Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, Universal, CBS, DreamWorks, Lionsgate, Marvel Studios, DC Comics, Nickelodeon, the Cartoon Network, Lucasfilm, Mattel, Hasbro. I know I'm not getting everybody. Simon and Schuster, the Penguin Random House, Metallica, the Beatles, Peanuts, Wawa, and Purina. And that's not the entire list, everybody. That's just an overview. Incredible that you have had this, and you guys we're going to talk about some of that as we go through. I want to start out kind of first talking about the 2022 Festival of the Arts. You were a featured artist down there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to get down there this year, and I really wanted to. I kind of want to talk about, you had 4 new pieces that debuted in 2022
Yep.
at the Festival of the Arts, featuring the Hollywood Tower Hotel, Maelstrom, Exploring Spaceship Earth, and the Home of the Orange Bird. I'd like to kind of just highlight those, and if you could just tell me a little bit about your thoughts with those. Let's start with Tower of Terror. This was a really cool piece. Tell me a little bit about this.
So, well, for the Wonderground Gallery, I've been doing attraction posters, like my take on the attraction posters that you would see, like when Disneyland first opened, they would put these giant screen printed versions of the rides that were in the park. So I've always
Right.
been attracted to them. So I wanted, this whole series is kind of my spin on it, and I've been kind of going through the list of things. So I try and pick ones. I mean, I pretty much like everything, so it's hard to really narrow down. So every festival, I try and do 4 new ones. So this year, I did the Tower of Terror. Was one of them because I love Twilight Zone, huge Twilight Zone fan. I
Okay.
love that ride, but I have a love hate relationship with the ride because I don't like free fall rides.
Oh,
So I force myself to go on it every time because of the aesthetic of it and seeing the whole like Twilight Zone overlay and all that. I love that, but I don't like falling. So I power through it just so I can do all the Twilight Zone parts. So that was one I definitely had to do this year. And then I always try and do like a defunct ride that's no longer there, which
right.
was Maelstrom this year. Um, which, I mean, I don't have too much of a fondness for Maelstrom. I know people seem to really like that one though. It's funny because I almost feel like that's one of those ones. It's like I didn't hear anybody talking about it until it was gone, and then everybody was very upset that they
Right.
took it away. So
Whenever it's gone, when it's there, I'm going to skip that this time. I got other things to do. The minute it's
Yeah.
gone, I can't believe they took that away.
Remember that if you're in the parks, don't skip your ride if you like it because it might not be there. You never know. And then
Absolutely.
Orangeburg, I've loved Orangeburg since I was a little kid. Being there first time in 1980, there was still the whole height of them using Orangeburg at the parks. I have still a little vinyl figure of an Orangeburg that I got when I was there in 1980. And then Spaceship Earth was the last one. I want that's been depicted a lot in different Epcot merchandise, but I don't know how many times people have utilized the scenes as you travel through it. So for that one, I really wanted to focus on the different scenes. And one of my favorite parts is the go-go computer
Right.
operator woman. I love her. So that's the thing. I hope they don't take her out on whatever they do an update on Spaceship Earth, which is It's coming soon.
It's
I don't know
imminent.
when.
It's yeah, it's an update,
Yeah,
and I don't know
yeah,
what they're going to do, but
yeah. They have to leave Go Boot,
that's
Computer
important.
Operator Woman. She's my favorite.
So all of these pieces were available at Festival of the Arts this year. We hope again. Is my optimistic hope that Disney will see the light and bring Dave Perillo back next year with Festival of the Arts as well. His creativity, you guys can see this through the coloration in this. That's what caught my eye with the eye appeal is buy appeal, and it's a great thing. So I love that. Of course, I am a huge fan of Orange Bird as well. I don't see how you can't be. For some reason, it just does it for me. Katie Y says, artists always are hardest on themselves. Which of Dave's works first made him the most proud? That's a great answer. Great question.
Like commercially, I guess.
Any of it, I guess.
I don't know. That's tough to narrow down. It's just I've done so many things now. It's like I usually move I look back at stuff and I always kind of cringe at my older stuff because I'm like it doesn't look good and I always look back and see how can I improve it for the next time I'm doing something for
Right.
that client or even for Festival of the Arts because I've been doing these attraction posters. Like I look back at the first batch that I did and I keep trying to improve myself on every one I do, like how I design it and you know how detailed it gets and the, you know the layout and everything. So it's tough because I think I'm always critical on older stuff. I'm always looking at the old stuff to try and get better with
Get
the
better ahead.
new.
I got you.
Yeah.
That's great. We've shared out Dave's website here as we're talking tonight. As you look on here, you see that there is many things at the top where you can shop over there. I'm going to click on that real quick. All of his posters, prints, original arts, and all that available over here. So as we're talking throughout the night, if you want to jump over to the website, the link my moderators can drop. It's also available in the description by the video. Feel free to go shopping with Dave. We'd love for somebody to come in tonight and say, hey, I just bought X. And thank you on that. We would really love that to support our guests tonight. Let's take, in response to your art, is there an interaction with the Disney personality? Alexa off. Alexa always wants to talk. In response to your art, is there an interaction with the Disney personality that has impacted you the most? Is there a Disney personality that you either met or through doing your art?
I don't know if it's necessarily a personality, but I got to visit the Disney archives in California, and for me that was just amazing because they have so many unique pieces in this collection. It's where they do the television animation and stuff like that. There's a library that the animators used to use, and behind the library is a vault basically of original plans for Disneyland, the original map that they used to use on the TV show for the Magical World of Disney, that was the intro, the original stretching portraits from the Haunted Mansion. There's just file cabinets upon file cabinets of things that it's like Willy Wonka's candy factory for artists that are into Disney stuff. I mean, you can't even imagine, like there's things there and you just see it like labeled and you're like, oh, I wonder what's in that, and you're not even allowed, like things that you heard that they worked on, like full on plans for this that never got made. So it's just amazing. It's that
Jim Fanning was here last week, and he's part of, I guess, the team, the overall team. He doesn't work for Disney, but he's a consultant and a respected source for a lot of the archive stuff that they do. And he basically painted the picture just like you just did about how he was just so overwhelmed with energy and everything as he was in there. He's actually going to be coming back. They allowed him to take a lot of pictures and all through there as he was working on different books. And he's actually going to come on in a couple of weeks and share a lot of personal pictures from the archives that he had, which I can't wait to do. So it's great that you went there. And this is what I love about a good interview. When you've got a great guest, the guest will tell the story before you even get to it. Down the road, I actually had a question, and I'm going to throw it to you now to give it. From the Disney archives and visiting them, was there an influence to any of your work that came out from that?
Well, they showed me the original, because there's not too many of them left, is those giant screen printed posters of the attractions. They used to just paste them up when you would walk into Disneyland in the 50s. They would paste them up, they would wear out, they would tear them down, they would paste the new one up. They were not thought as being like held on to or
Right.
collectible. So even when they were building this archive, they had to hunt them down from other collectors and to get them back in their collection. And when you see them in person, they're screen printed. So it like the copies that you see that they use on puzzles and calendars does not do it justice. The colors just pop off these things. They're
Very.
amazing. They're just so gorgeous. Like it's amazing that they were just kind of treated as just an advertisement that would be up there for however long, and then they would tear it down and put a new one up. It's
I,
crazy to me when you
I
think
think the
about it.
tough part for all of us is that, as this Disney thing came to life, I guarantee you when they first started Disneyland, nobody thought that, hey, well, that salt and pepper shaker right now that we're going to throw out in 2 weeks and get a new one could be looked at with reverence in the archives 50 years
Yeah,
from now. And that's the tough spot. So that's interesting that you're
yeah.
doing. Again, want to remind everybody that anybody wants to ask questions along the way. Yes, thanks, Katie, for dropping the direct link to his website. I appreciate that. Please throw them into the chat as we go through. Let's jump over. Let's take a step over to here. You've worked with 25th Century Games and Hasbro Games doing board games, illustration, and design. Like I pulled a couple here from her doing it. I know you had this one here from the Monopoly time, and I have one or two more. Could you just talk about that opportunity in your career and what that was like? I mean, that's iconic when you say the word Monopoly, and
Yeah.
you're getting to put your hand to it. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, this was such a thrill on so many levels because one, it's designing a Monopoly game. Two, they came to me and they said they want it in my style. They want it done retro, which I love, and it's based off of Planet of the Apes, which I'm a huge Planet of the Apes original movie
Yes,
series.
you are.
And so when they gave me like a list of assets that they needed for the game, and they said, well, because you have to design everything. You have to design the community chest cards. You have to design the chance cards and the properties, all these have to be kind of thought out. And when they were giving me the list, I don't know if they weren't as into the Planet of the Apes as I am, but I kept saying to them, I said, these aren't actual things from the movies. Why don't I kind of rework a lot of this stuff and give you ideas that you can use that would connect it better to the movies? And they were all for it. So to me, that was I had a lot of input in what the spaces were on the board and what the
Very cool.
community chest cards and chance cards said. Like there's things deep cuts from the movie, and so I was super excited that I got to do that. This is one of the top things I've ever got to work on. Is
That's
this
pretty
Monopoly?
awesome. And, I mean, you've done other things like different things with this, with
Yep.
Christmas lights and stuff like that. That unique stuff that you've done out there. I think it's amazing, and it really opens up to, obviously, you have a whole world spectrum because you're not just tied down to one avenue with what you do with your style.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to be that way when you're a freelancer. You have to. I think it's the broader of things you can do, the more opportunities and doors open up for you. So it's tough if you limit yourself on on what you can do as being a freelancer. So
Well,
the
Big
more
Matt
things,
says he'll definitely be looking into your Dave Store website. This is fascinating. Thank you, Big Matt. We appreciate that. And don't forget, guys, if you're watching live or on the replay, when we're done the video, leave a comment on the video. You'll be eligible. We will do a giveaway. We'll announce it not this Friday, but next Friday night. We'll pick the winner on the Friday night show, and we'll announce that, and Dave will get that out to you. Julie said, hey, wow, that's cool. Let me ask you this. What's it like to be in the park and see someone wearing shirts that you've designed?
it's kind of fun. It's sometimes you get like a weird look if you say something to somebody. Like I was on the Disney. Uh, I was in Disneyland and I was on the train, and the guy sitting next to me was wearing a shirt that they had turned in one of my art pieces. They turned into a shirt, and I was like, should I say something? And I think I posted on Twitter, should I say something to this guy? And then I didn't. I just kind of got too shy or embarrassed to say anything. And then he got off the train and left. And then I found out that he must have saw the tweet. And he's like, I wish you would have said something to me. But you don't know. Because sometimes you say something and the person has no idea who you are.
Well, here's
They
the
just
thing.
like the shirt.
What I could tell you, and this is from having the luxury to do this segment that we do on Tuesdays in the future, I would highly encourage you to definitely say something, because while people may not know Dave Perillo the face, people know Dave Perillo that art, and they love your art. And you can see that being internationally respected the way you are. Definitely, I would encourage you to, because I know if I was sitting next to you and I didn't know you and I saw your art, I would be like, "This is awesome."
Yeah.
So let's talk about for a second the Wonderground Carousel of Progress and the Monsters Inc. piece. I loved both of these. Could you just talk to me a little bit about the inspiration behind some of these pieces? I think these are so cool. Let me take down
Oh,
Julie's comments so we can see that.
sure.
Uh,
Well, the Monsters Inc. one was one of the first things I did for Wonderground is when they first opened up. They were trying to do like themed shows, so they would
right.
have the artists all do things based off of a theme. And the first one of the first themes was Pixar, and then they asked the artists what Pixar thing you'd want to work on, so they didn't want everybody doing Toy Story or something. So they kind of asked for your top three choices, and my top one is Monsters Inc. It's my favorite Pixar movie. Just the whole, again,
Everything.
the aesthetic of it, the retro vibe, the music, everything about it. I love it. So I was
Wazowski's
really
over my shoulder looking at me right now.
I
So
it's funny. I have a little Wazowski over
there
here.
we go. We are
It's like
Wazowski'd out. I love it.
yeah. Yeah, so I was super excited that I got to do that one, and a lot of the art pieces I do where it's like I like to take all the characters and put them in different boxes, and so you get like a whole like collage of everything from the movie. I try and work that into stuff. Carousel of Progress, I just, it's such a, I didn't think again, it was one of those ones I did it because I liked it. And then after I did it, people kept coming up to me at the park saying, "Oh my God, I love Carousel of Progress. You never see anything for Carousel of Progress. I'm so glad you did stuff for Carousel of Progress." And I'm like, well, every time you're at the park, it has this like 5 minute wait time and nobody's ever in there. It's like the best thing when it's hot at the parks to go in and
Absolutely.
sit and watch Carousel of Progress. And it's such a great show. It's like,
It is a great show. Look, we talked about Mike Wazowski, and here he is coming in.
there he is.
He's in Chicago right now, but he's coming into us. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming in. Yeah, everybody's saying, "Hey, we scare because we care." Carousel of Progress to me, it's iconic in the way of kind of like when I look at Carousel, I think about it with kind of like the Tiki Room and a couple others. People would lose their mind if it was taken away.
Yeah.
But it's glanced past of like, oh God, I only have 2 hours left. Well, I got to make sure I get Space Mountain and I got to get that. I'll hit
Yeah.
next time. But it is, when you go in there and you sit and you just take it all in and you think of the animatronics and everything that started that whole thing. Yes,
Right.
we're a different world now, but back then that was so, surreal. So I
I
love it.
mean, these are the things like Carousel of Progress and like the Enchanted Tiki Room that make Disney so unique to other theme parks. Like you don't go to other theme parks and they have things like the Carousel of Progress. It wouldn't fly it at
Absolutely.
Six
But this
Flags
was
or
so cool
Universal.
to have, if you have a room in your house, like for me, okay, like I have an incredible stitch thing that I just bought for my bathroom. It
Yeah.
ties in. This to me is a great tie. It could be into a family room. It could be just about anywhere up on a wall in like a 10 by 12 or some of that. I think it would look great framed. The coloration is fantastic. Again, your artistry unreal. I love the best memories of Carousel Progress with my grandparents. There you go, Julie. I see it. I see it. So that's good stuff there. I love that. I love that. Let's talk for a second here. Let's go a different path. Let's go away from the art for a second. Let's talk about Dave the person. We always ask our guests here, what parks have you attended as you've been doing this whole journey, and what's on the bucket list for you? Is there somewhere you want to get that you haven't been yet as far as the Disney parks go?
I would like to see Disney. I've been to all the Florida parks. I've been
Yeah.
to everything in California, but I would like to go to Disneyland Paris.
Nice.
I would like to do Tokyo Disney. I think those are the top two that I would love to get to at some point.
Now, have you
There's
have you done any pieces that involved anything with any of the shows or ride at any of those locations yet?
No, I haven't. It's different. Like there's different different people, like different things are in charge of different parks. So
Okay.
like the stuff over in Japan and Shanghai is handled by a different division, and
Gotcha.
same with I guess Paris, because there are other Disney artists that I know that do stuff for him, but it doesn't kind of go through the same avenues that
Okay.
the things in the States go through. It's like a big octopus, Disney is.
It is.
Many
It's
tentacles going everywhere.
a lot more than 8, for
A
sure.
lot more than 8, probably like 8,000. I still can't navigate it where things come from because I've worked with so many different departments for different things, and I can't even figure out how they find me from one thing to another. It's not even necessarily like there's crossover, you know.
Okay.
They sometimes I work with things and they didn't even know I was doing stuff for Wonderground Gallery. They found me through something else. So
Gotcha. Katie Y says, Pete, Dave's Mandalorian pieces are incredibly detailed. She has a question. Are these pieces he found to be the most time-consuming to create? Are they time-consuming to create the Mando?
yes. those ones take forever because it's not my normal style. It's very it leans more realistic, which is not how I normally draw. So when I got to shift into that mode, it takes me a lot longer. And then they're very strict with, you know, making sure everything's accurate for the Mandalorian and Star Wars universe. So things can't be off. Like stormtroopers' helmets have to be accurate. All the details on the Mando's armor and helmets have to be accurate. So it's a lot of back and forth with Lucasfilm to make sure that it's accurate.
Signed off. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: is we all collect stuff? There's a lot of people that'll be watching this show either live or on the replay that collect Dave Perillo art and have a piece hung in their home. What is stuff that you like to collect from Disney? You know, for me, I love Jim Shore's art. You know, I collect a lot of that. I love popcorn buckets. We are a popcorn bucket collecting family. Is there anything that you and your family collects?
Well, it's not necessarily just Disney, but I collect metal lunchboxes, which I see
Awesome.
actually you have. Is that the repro behind you, or is that the real one?
That's a D23.
Okay.
That's a D20.
Yeah, I have the real one. I have actually 2 of that one.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was tempted to buy the D23 one, but I'm like, well, it's cool, but I have the original.
You have the original. So let me ask you this: lunchbox collector. I didn't know that about you. So again, why I love this interview process. What are some of your most treasured lunchboxes that you have? Because that's a huge collectible genre right there.
Yeah, it's a shame it's not in my office, but I have in my basement, which is kind of all set up with, you know, my man cave and all my toys, but I have a whole wall of lunchboxes, and I mean, I try and pick a lot of stuff. I have a lot of weird ones. Anytime I see a weird one, I'm like, oh, I got to get that. Like, there's one I have on like math, like it's the Amazing World of Arithmetic. Like, I don't know what kid would have wanted this lunchbox, but
the one who was getting up.
My holy grail of trilogy was the Star Wars Empire and Jedi lunchboxes that I finally completed.
You've got all of them.
Yeah. Well, because growing up, Star Wars was my first metal lunchbox I had. So, and it of course didn't make it and got thrown away. And I've always been trying to get a good one for a decent price that's in like not mint condition. I don't need it to be mint, but not completely wrecked, because they would get wrecked. They would get dented and rusted and fall apart. And yeah,
and they most of them don't have the container inside for the liquid. You have
thermos. Yeah. I have the thermoses for all of them. Thermoses and the metal lunchboxes for all of them.
I am going to throw out a Dave Perillo challenge based on our interview today. I'm going to ask you at some point in the near future, maybe later this week, if you have a spare moment, tweet out at me and hit me up with a picture of the 3 of them. I would love to see that.
I'll send you the whole wall.
Oh, I'd love that. I'd love to see that. That's awesome. I get excited about crazy stuff. Where's Crew? Oh, there he is. I can't believe Crew hadn't reacted yet. Crew is look, you can see by his avatar there. He is a diehard Star. I mean, this got Star Wars everywhere in his house, and I knew he'd be excited to hear that. Let me highlight my guests again, everybody, before we go back into back half of questions here. Again, Dave Perillo art. He is a Disney featured artist for the Festival of the Arts. All of his social media aspects and his website found in the description and body of this video. He is absolutely solid out there. 19,000 plus on Instagram, almost 6,500 over there on Twitter with everything he's doing right now. Featured clients, so many top name clients. We talked about them earlier. Warner Brothers, Universal, CBS, Lucasfilm, Mattel. The list goes on and on. And I'll tell you, he's featured in galleries all over the United States, everybody. Wonderground out in downtown Disney in California and Disney Springs in Florida. You can find Dave Feature there. Gallery 1998 in Los Angeles. Spoke Art in San Francisco. Mondo Gallery in Austin, Texas. Bottleneck Gallery, Brooklyn, New York. Gallery Nucleus, Alhambra, California. I think I'm saying that right. The All-Star Gallery, big gallery in Chicago. They're quality. I know about them. Beer and Bird Gallery. I love the name of that. In Lauderhill, Florida. French Paper Art Gallery in Paris, France. You heard me, everybody. International Phone Booth Gallery in Long Beach. If coast to coast, you can find Dave's art, everybody. That's the point of the gallery recognition. You can find him everywhere. Dave, let me jump back in here and come in. You've created artwork for movies like The Sandlot, shows like The Flintstones, and bands like Metallica. And I'm going to pop a couple of those pictures up as we're chatting. Were you surprised as you grow as an artist that your impressions cross so many genres there?
Yeah, it is pretty weird. It jumps all over the place. I am surprised sometimes that like even like doing a Metallica poster. It's like, I'm doing Disney stuff, and then all of a sudden I get the opportunity to do something for Metallica. Is kind of surreal. But in high school, it wouldn't have surprised you. I was very had the long hair, the denim jacket, went to the Metallica concerts.
So you're down with the same, man. I got you on that. Not a problem there. But then you go from Metallica to like this. I love the Flintstones one. When I saw this, I was like, this is so creative. Love the coloration. Of course, how can you go wrong with Fred? I mean, to be honest with you.
Sure, yeah.
So it's kind of neat that you do that. And have you ever been, as you've done this, have you ever been surprised by someone who's called you and said, wow, okay, I didn't expect that person to like my type of art, but I'm glad they did?
Yeah, I mean, it comes up a lot. I mean, like Metallica was one. I was surprised I had that opportunity. I'm trying to think what else. A lot. I mean, I guess it's the whole pop culture thing now, especially. I mean, like growing up, I don't know if pop culture to me it wasn't like what it is now. It seems much more widespread. A lot of these like fan genres and stuff like that. It was growing up. It was just kind of like it was just there, It wasn't like this fandom didn't exist. You had like I was like an early Trekkie or whatever. I used to go to Star Trek conventions when that was like there was like Star Trek conventions and there was comic conventions, and the comic conventions were legit just comic books in long boxes and maybe one or two artists that would show up.
Right.
And now you go to comic conventions, like they're huge, more fan pop cultural experiences. So
yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
right.
It is a little wild now when I think back, like what it was and where it's grown and all the things, the opportunities of things I've got to work on, from like things that I grew up like G.I. Joe and Transformers and all the all that stuff. It's just crazy. Yeah.
Awesome. What was it like doing D23?
Oh, that's fun. It's a different kind of show. It's not that. See, there's another one that's not like a regular comic convention. That's kind of like a trade show mixed with a comic convention because it's Disney promoting all their stuff that they have coming out, and they also have like celebrities there promoting movies and TV shows, but it isn't like a big marketplace necessarily, like where you would go to a comic convention and they would have just dealers selling T-shirts and Funko Pops and all that. I mean, it's not the same as that, although that is there. So it's a different experience because
different experience.
Yeah, you mentioned it reminds me of like a combination of like Toy Fair, because I've been to the New York Toy Fair where they're showing you stuff but you're not buying it, and then San Diego Comic-Con. It's kind of like a combo of that.
Oh, that's the top of the line when you talk about Comic-Cons, when you talk about the San Diego one. Let me ask you this. You mentioned celebrities a minute ago. Big Matt saying, I love that Flintstone piece. Yeah, Matt, it's a cool one. You mentioned celebrities. I guess a unique question I always like asking my guests on Tuesday nights because of your interaction on a different level. For you, it would be a twofold question. One, most unique celebrity you met where you were like, oh, cool. And it could be Julius Erving for the 76ers if it is. I'm okay with that, by the way. And then also, is there a celebrity that's purchased one of your pieces that's reached out to you? I know sometimes a lot of celebrities do reach out. Sometimes they don't. But I'm just curious if that has ever happened.
I can't think off the top of my head anybody that's so I do a lot of stuff for Gallery 1988, which is out in LA, and they
Right.
sell a lot of artwork to celebrities, and I know different people have bought my stuff. Sometimes I see it like pop up in the background of like their house or something like that, which is kind of weird. Like if they post a picture. Um, I've got to do stuff like Judd Apatow.
Oh,
They
really?
reached out to me to do like a personal gift for his wife. Like,
Nice.
yeah, so
That's
it's
awesome.
like,
That's the type of stuff
yeah,
so cool. That's
yeah,
the perk of this is to get to do stuff like that. That's very cool. I love it.
yeah.
I love that. All right, let me jump back in here. It's kind of an odd topic, I guess, to say the least, is that you have a passion for mascots.
Oh, yeah.
You have a passion
Yeah.
for mascots that
I do.
that represent a brand. It does not, I'm not necessarily talking sports, kind of talking all mascots across the board. Who is your favorite that you have done artwork for, and who is on the bucket list of mascot that you would like to do something with that you haven't yet?
I've got to do a whole NBA mascots poster, which was pretty cool. Um, but my bucket list would have to be Gritty
I knew
from the
that was coming.
Flyers.
I knew that was coming.
I would die to do something for Gritty.
That's cool. If you don't know Gritty, he is the
Yeah.
hockey mascot for the Philadelphia Flyers, and it is just it's just Philadelphia is what it is. It's awesome.
It is, yeah. It is
He's awesome.
Philadelphia, one big orange monster. So.
Yes, it is. It's pretty cool. So I had to throw
Yeah.
that in there, knowing how much you love doing your mascot work. Again, I want to remind everybody as we're sitting talking with our guest tonight, go over to his website. We've been posting that throughout the night right there. KDY dropping some links left and right. Dave Perillo's art shop. You can go through there and pick out all kind of unique pieces across all available genres to do there. I've got multiple links inside the body description video for you to keep up with that. You create gift card packages and designs for corporate companies that are major impact retailers in our lives that people probably don't even realize as they're standing in line. That's a Dave Perillo piece. What was it like doing some stuff with Target as you have done recently in the past?
That's fun because their gift cards are really creative. I mean, I don't necessarily come up with the concept, but they give you an idea and they kind of tell you like that one that you have on the screen. It's that one lit up. It was like there was a button in it, so when you press it, the little lights on the igloo would light up. Their gift cards are wild. They do some cool stuff. I think they might have pulled back a little bit on that. As doing like these wild, like that one was another cool one where it was it was a maze, and their whole thing was it was going to have this magnetic wand. I did get to design the maze on that, which was a challenge to come up with a whole maze design. But it's fun.
It's funny. So that this one, it was after I'd reached out to you about doing the interview. So everybody knows we've been talking about this for a little while, trying to get a date and all lined up. I was at the Target, and in the back, behind several new ones, was one of these. And I actually said to my son, I said, Preston, I said, that's the gentleman we're going to interview coming up. And it was kind of cool to see his face react to, okay, it's a gentleman who's going to be on our show. And I'm in Target holding this gift card. And of course, the next question I got, well, can we get this? We should get this. I was like, if we get it, you're not spending it. He's like, well, Dad, if we got it and we spent it online, we could keep the gift card as a souvenir. I'm like,
yeah,
just got outthought by my son.
So
it works out really good there. But I thought this was really cool. And again, it showed everybody, if you're watching for the first time, it sees the talent of Dave and what he does across all of the boards there. So let me ask you this. Who for Disney artists or animators or creators from either current or the past have inspired you through your creativity? Or if it's not, is there somebody else who's inspired you?
Well, Disney artist Mary Blair, I look at her stuff a lot.
Absolutely.
Her color palettes. She was an innovator at the time, and being a woman too in a pantheon of men artists she really stood out. So I think a lot of my art influence comes from her. Jim Flora, he didn't necessarily do stuff for Disney, but he did a lot of jazz album covers and children's books. He's another one. He did the Mambo for Cats album, which they spoofed in Monsters Inc. It's on like the wall of Mike and Sully's
Mike and
apartment.
Sully's apartment. Yeah. I
So
didn't think about that. That's very cool.
yeah. There's just a lot of throwback artists like from the 50s, 60s, mid-century modern artists. Shag is really good. I dig his stuff a lot. He does a lot of stuff for Disney now.
Yes, he's starting to do stuff. It's
Yeah,
nice to see Disney reaching out. You know, your creativity is unique to you, but to people like Shag and like Arcee, who I had on just a couple weeks ago, it's nice to see Disney reach out to other artists. I mean, I know the one thing I will say for all artists, you all support each other, which is great, and I think that's fantastic because I think all of you realize how hard you had to work to get to where you are now. You didn't just all of a sudden draw a piece of picture on a paper and all of a sudden you were featured by Disney. You've been
yeah,
working for a long time to build up to where you get to. It's kind of I equate it to like a Major League Baseball player having to go up through college, through the minors, to get up to the big time, and then you have to work twice as hard once you're there. And I think that's pretty awesome. So I'm excited.
yeah.
So,
And all the artists like that, that I've met through doing art through Disney that also do stuff for Wonderground, they're all like super modest people. Like
mhm.
there's no ego going in. Nobody comes in and acts like they're better than another artist. Everybody's very supportive. So it's a nice community of artists that, we can chat, we can talk about like
Mhm.
stuff. Because the other thing is too, it's like, when you're doing stuff for Disney, it's very hush hush until it comes out. So there isn't a lot of people you can even discuss stuff
Engage
with.
with
So it's
right.
nice to have a little network of people that if you need to ask a question, you're not going to like get in trouble.
Absolutely. Well, it was nice. You speak of that. It was nice when Michael Prevents and I ended the interview. I had showed that you were coming up as a featured guest in a couple weeks, and when
Yeah.
we were backstage, he mentioned he's like I'm aware of his art from down at the Festival of the Art. He does a great job. So it was
Yeah.
nice to hear stuff like that. I love that fact. That's part of the reason I love Disney is I believe we should be doing what Walt wanted us to do, which was to support each other and to be welcoming to everyone. And I think that's very cool that you all understand you have your own road to go in, but you can have others around you. That's awesome. You mentioned
Yeah.
about comic books and Comic Con as we were doing our interview. I know that you're a comic guy from the research I've done about you. If you could do three superheroes with your style, either DC or Marvel, who is your top three that that's what I want to do?
Like 70s era X-Men is probably my
Ooh,
my go-to guys. I love Nightcrawler. I love Colossus, Wolverine. That's one of the first like series runs of comics that kind of got me into comics growing up. I started reading the GI Joe comics and the Transformers comics because I watched the cartoons, and then I was like, well, let me get into some superhero comics. And I remember picking up old X-Men books, and I always loved it. I like the characters spoke to me because they're so unique and colorful, and like artists like Dave Cockrum who came up with these designs
right,
for these
right.
characters. It's just that always caught my eye. So
I
I think it
love
would be fun to do something like that.
Well, and that's probably the reason I love doing this segment that we're doing on Tuesday nights because while we're honoring you for your creativity day, we're also able to retrospect and honor people like Cochran. So for what they did, and
Yeah,
for to go back across all these genres because if you've done a piece of Monsters Inc., well, you're honoring every person that sat with Pixar from the animator to the writer to the guy who funded the money to every person that was involved and I think it's a great way that we can do that. That excites me. I kind of wanted to finish up tonight with talking about something that I thought was pretty special, and I actually have this in my house. It was in my office, Dave, until my son got his eyes on it. I should tell you that my son has over 500 Funkos, but
uh,
this piece sits in with his Funkos, and he's exceptionally proud of this piece. He loves it. It was sent to when I was in the hospital sick. It was sent to us by a person who knew I was sick and knew I loved Disney to put into my hospital room. And when it came in, Preston, my son said, Dad, we're not opening that. I was like, why? He's like, that needs to go in with my collection when it's done. So talk a little bit about the partner statue piece, your part in this, and how it all came about.
so that one actually stemmed from I did something for Disneyland's. Was it their what was the anniversary they just had? 65th, I
65th.
think, was 2 years ago. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 years ago. So I did stuff for the 65th anniversary of Disneyland, which was a poster, and in that poster was it's actually the inside of the box. If you see the inside of the box was the original poster that it was supposed to be for Disneyland 65th. Well, COVID happened and they never put out the poster. But the other thing they asked me to do was because I drew in the picture it's looking at the castle, and in front of the castle is the partner statue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in the piece. So they said, "Can you take that? We want to do a 3D vinyl like figurine, whatever you call collectible out of it." I said, "Oh yeah." So I had to do the whole turnaround on what it would look like from the front, the side, the top, the bottom. Also then they could take it and send it off to a 3D renderer who took my artwork, and it's cool to see somebody take my flat 2D artwork and interpret it in a 3D way, because I work very
cool.
flat. Yeah,
it holds its own 100%. Preston, my son has a whole wall in his room of Funkos, floor to ceiling. It's Funkos on top of each other, and this sits like right in the middle. Because I asked him to bring it in, he's like, "I'm not taking that wall down." So I was like, so I wanted to have that here, but I do love this piece, and I am a proud owner of that as we go through.
Yeah, I got to do the box too, and the box design for that one, I tried to mimic the old Disneyland popcorn like bags.
Right, it's a yellow and white, and it's the gold or gold and white.
Yeah, that bluish, that like aqua blue. Yeah,
I like it. I thought it was a great job with the whole thing when it first came. I was looking for more of them. That's what I said to Preston. I was like, "There's got to be more to this whole thing." And is there a chance of maybe more down the road? Maybe.
I hope so. It's funny because they work. It's like you work so far out. Like right now, I don't have anything like this in the works with them. But I love doing this 3D kind of stuff and have it be turned into like a toy or a collectible. Like I've done some of the Vinylmations, which I see you have on your shelves a little, and that's kind of more that because that was a set template where it was a Mickey shape,
right?
And you just kind of had to map the design onto it. So I had the opportunity to do some of those. This was unique because it was completely my whole design. So
that's cool. That's really well, again, my guest tonight has been, he's done so much out there in the world. As you take the time to go through his website, I think what you'll find is the same thing that I did, saying, wow, I remember that, seen in the world, but not knowing it was your work. And it's kind of cool now as I'm out and about in stores, as I look for things, I'm looking for your work out there, and always want to do that. Found on Instagram, found on Twitter, found on his own website, found at the Festival of the Arts, hopefully coming back for next year. Disney would be remiss in my mind if they didn't have you down there. My goal is to get down there next spring, hopefully when you and some of the other artists that we've had on this show are there, so I can say hello personally. Thank you face to face for doing this. But before I go and throw it to you for a final thought of the night, I have to throw at you our 2 questions that we always hit everybody else up with. If you could draw something for Walt and Roy, you could walk into that office. You probably, since you've been to the archives, you've probably stood in that office, I'd imagine. Maybe you've had the luxury of going up there. If you could walk into that office and Roy's there and Walt's behind the desk, and Walt say, "Hey, show me that thing you got," you know how Walt used to say. What would you want to draw for Walt?
Probably, well, I would think Mr. Toad. Mr. Toad's like my favorite.
Ooh.
My favorite thing out of the parks.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
I love that.
If I had the opportunity to work on some kind of Mr. Toad thing, I know they have a Toad themed restaurant in Disneyland Paris. I would, just something Toad. There needs to be more Toad.
And that and that's something that Walt had his hands on originally. Obviously, he was part of that, so he would really appreciate that. That's very cool. Do you have? We always ask the 6 degrees of separation from Walter Elias Disney. Do you have a 6 degrees of separation? Can you get there?
I don't know. I'm trying to think how I would get there. So how do people normally do it? Is it like a celebrity that they know?
Well, or anybody that they have known and interacted with. You know, like I'll give you Kimberly Bouchard was on, and Kimberly said to me, "Well, I'm 1 degree away from Walt." And I was like, "Well, how would that be?" And she says, "Well, I'm friends with Margaret. She was the original Tinkerbell. She actually knew Walt physically, so I'm 1 degree away." We had a couple people that were 4 degrees away. They were, so didn't know if you working with somebody, or any way, shape, or form?
Um,
Last week, Jim Fanning went through Roy's son. He knew Roy's son, who obviously knew Roy, so he was 2 or 3 degrees away. Just it's a unique thing we always ask.
well, I got to do a tour of Sesame Street with Marty Robinson, who does Snuffleupagus, who knew Jim Henson. So I'm sure Henson, and somehow you could connect
Yeah,
Henson.
you're not. You're there. You're there. It's just that's. But that
Yeah.
okay. So now I got to ask you before I throw it over to you for a final thought of the night. What was it like to tour Sesame Street?
Oh, that's so I've been to Disney Archives, which was great. I've been to Pixar Studios, which is amazing. But
Oh,
Sesame Street is such a magical experience to be there because it's a practical set. So everything is like as it is that you see on the show is that's pretty much it. And when you're there, they ask you uh, if you want to meet any of the Muppets, and
right.
at first you're kind of like confused because you're like, "What are you going to just bring out the puppet and show me the puppet?" But it's not. That's not what happens.
No.
The puppet has to be alive, what they say, for you to meet them.
Yes.
So if the person that is that Muppet is there, they can bring him out. So one of my all time favorite Muppets is Bert,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, Eric Jacobs, who does Bert now, it was Frank Oz before, but he doesn't do it anymore. So he was there, and he brought out Bert for me, and he talked to me as Bert. So I got
Yeah.
to have a conversation with Bert, not the man who's operating Bert, but actually Bert. So,
That is so cool.
yeah,
Someone else I knew, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, had the same thing. And as you were telling the story, I knew where you were going because I remember them saying that they wanted to meet certain Muppets and they couldn't because that person wasn't there that day. They
yeah,
said that that they didn't say that this Muppet's unavailable. They said the Muppet's not here, or they didn't say that the puppeteer wasn't there. They said, I'm sorry, that Muppet is off street today or away
yeah,
here. But they did say to him, hey, but Oscar is here today. And the
yeah,
person literally said, I sat there and had a 5-minute conversation with Oscar the Grouch, like I was talking with my mom at a coffee
yeah,
shop. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
incredible.
When you
So
talk to them, you're talking to that character. That character comes to life. I talked to Cookie Monster. Grover was there. Oscar,
Grover,
Snuffleupagus,
I
Slimy the Worm, which was really cool.
oh man, that is awesome. I'm a
Yeah,
huge Grover fan.
yeah,
Super Grover's one of my favorites. I actually said that one time. I was at a convention and somebody said to me, well, who are your favorite superheroes? I said, I love Iron Man, I love Batman, I love Super Grover. And people went, what? Lost their mind. But I was like, oh, you got to love Super Grover. Dave,
oh
let me
yeah,
throw it over to you just for a final thought of the night from your side of the artist studio.
sure. So I guess one thing, when I'm being an artist, a lot of times people come up to me and they say, "Well, how did you get into doing this?" And or they have a young kid who wants to be an artist, and they say, how do they get from there to here?" And I always tell them, I said, you just have to you have to draw what you love. You have to love what you're drawing.
Mm.
And it sounds cliche, but if you just draw every single day of your life and you love it, you'll eventually get there. It might not be, the path isn't a straight path. It is a wiggly, wobbly maze of a way to get to somewhere. But as long as you're passionate and you love what you're doing, and you follow your dreams, because as if I could go back in time and talk to my 5-year-old self at Disney to say, hey, one day you'll be here as an artist, drawing these characters, getting paid to do it as a living, I don't think I would have believed myself. But I always tell people, like, you just got to believe in yourself. I know it's cliche, but you really do. You got to keep trying to do it, and you'll eventually get there.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, not just for coming on tonight. I'm very humble that you would gracious with an hour of your time, but I also just want to thank you for bringing the magic through so many avenues, be they Disney or other, doing so many things for Hanna-Barbera and Lucasfilm, and you start talking about doing board games and things of that nature, and for my son finding you on a gift card in Target, all those things you're bringing the magic, and I encourage you to please not stop doing that because I don't know what you still have yet to do, but I know it's something that's going to put a smile on somebody's face, and I'm truly grateful. Remember, guys, as I've said, if you're watching the replay tonight, you can go over to the body descriptions video. All of Dave's social media links are there. He knows he has an open invitation for any Friday night to come into our Friday night show and highlight anything new and up and coming that he has coming. He's part of the family now, as are all of our artists and authors that come on to our channel. Coming up in the next couple weeks on this channel, next week we are actually off on a Tuesday night, but the following Thursday, it will be Mark Daniel, the voice of Disney right now for all the grand openings. I'm pretty sure you may see him guarding a galaxy. He hasn't told me that, but I'm hoping he will be the one that's there opening it up for Disney. Mark will be coming. Zach Sedelis is coming directly from the set of the Hollywood Studios, Indiana Jones, and the set of The Walking Dead. He's on both. He'll be coming to join us. And Aaron H. Goldberg is coming back. He's got more stuff to go from his things that he's authoring out. He'll be coming back and joining us, so please do. On behalf of all of us tonight, I say thank you. Please go over and check out Dave's website. It's amazing. Dave, thank you for bringing a magical night tonight, celebrating one night of the arts. With that, I always call on a friend to say goodnight. Dave, you hang tight. You and I can chat for a minute, and I'm going to go right now to my friend and say, hey, my friend, I appreciate you. I support you. You're bringing us all the magic. Get us out of here tonight and help us out. 3, 2, 1. We're gone, everybody. We'll see you next week on the show.
Thanks, Musketeers, for joining the party. We'll be looking for you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, all.